John and Sarah's love story once shone brightly. The birth of their son David shattered their idyllic world. David's dark skin, a testament to Sarah's hidden heritage, sparked an immediate and irrevocable rift, leading John to divorce Sarah in a fit of anger and prejudice. As Sarah faced the daunting task of raising David alone, she encountered societal scorn and financial hardships, yet her unwavering love and resilience became David's guiding light. David's childhood was marked by encounters with racism, but also by his determination to rise above his circumstances, fueled by his mother's strength and the supportive community that embraced them. As David's exceptional talent in sports emerged, he gained recognition and opportunities, climbing to prominence despite the internal conflict of his father's absence. John's life, marred by guilt and regret, took a turn when he saw David's success on television, realizing the young man he had abandoned was his own son. Their emotional reunion was fraught with tension, as David confronted John with years of pent-up anger and longing for answers. John's heartfelt apology and acknowledgement of his prejudices began to break down David's defenses, initiating a painful but hello my friends, I hope all you are fine. This is Narrative Stories channel. Let's start this story. John and Sarah had always been seen as the perfect couple in their small conservative town. John was a well-respected businessman, and Sarah was known for her kindness and beauty. Their love story was the talk of the town, and everyone eagerly awaited the arrival of their first child. However, beneath the surface, there were unspoken tensions, particularly regarding race and identity. John came from a lineage that prided itself on its pure heritage, while Sarah's background was more diverse, though she rarely spoke of it. When Sarah finally gave birth to their son David, the initial joy quickly turned to shock and horror for John. David's skin was much darker than either of his parents, revealing Sarah's mixed-race heritage that she had not discussed openly. As John looked at his newborn son, his mind was a whirlwind of confusion and anger. How could this be his child? Accusations of infidelity flew from his mouth before he could even think, his voice shaking with betrayal. Sarah, still exhausted from the birth, could only weep and plead with John to understand. She had hoped their love would transcend the prejudices of their town, but John's reaction was severe and immediate. He demanded a divorce, refusing to listen to Sarah's explanations or consider the possibility of ancestral genetics playing a role. The hospital room, once filled with the promise of new life, was now a battleground of shattered dreams. Sarah, clutching her newborn son, felt a wave of determination wash over her. If John could not accept their child, she would raise David alone, facing whatever challenges lay ahead. Raising David on her own was no easy task for Sarah. The small town's conservative values meant that Sarah and her son were often the subjects of gossip and scorn. Neighbors who once greeted her with smiles now avoided her gaze, and former friends turned cold. Financially, things were tough. John had been the primary breadwinner, and Sarah had to take on multiple jobs to make ends meet. Despite the hardships, Sarah never wavered in her love and support for David. She made sure he knew he was cherished and special, teaching him to take pride in his identity. Sarah's resilience and strength became the foundation upon which David's character was built. She sought out a supportive community, finding solace in a local church group that welcomed them with open arms, providing both emotional and practical support. Growing up, David was acutely aware of the absence of his father. He saw other children playing with their dads and often wondered why his was different. Sarah was honest with him, explaining that his father had left because he couldn't see beyond the color of David's skin. This truth was painful, but it also steeled David's resolve to prove himself. School was a mixed experience for David. He faced racism and discrimination from some classmates, but he also found friends who saw him for who he was. The strength and kindness his mother had instilled in him helped David navigate these challenges. He excelled in his studies and extracurricular activities, driven by a desire to make his mother proud and understand his father's rejection. The close-knit community that embraced them provided a nurturing environment, allowing David to grow with a sense of belonging and self-worth. David's exceptional talent in sports became evident when he joined his school's track team. His speed and agility were unmatched, quickly drawing the attention of coaches and scouts. Sarah, always his biggest supporter, attended every meet, cheering him on with pride. David's dedication and hard work paid off, earning him scholarships and opportunities that many could only dream of. His achievements were not limited to athletics. He was also a bright student, excelling in academics. The recognition he received was a testament to his resilience and determination. He often thought about his father during these moments, wondering if John would be proud of him. Despite the internal conflict, David channeled his emotions into his pursuits, driven by a need to succeed and be seen. David's rise to prominence was meteoric. By the time he reached college, he was a national champion in track and field, with numerous accolades to his name. The media took notice, and David's story was featured in several publications. Interviews often delved into his background, and he spoke candidly about his mother's unwavering support and the absence of his father. His candidness endeared him to many, but it also reignited old wounds. David's internal conflict grew as he pondered reaching out to his estranged father. He wondered if John had followed his career, if he knew about his success. The desire for acknowledgement and closure gnawed at him, but so did the fear of rejection. Sarah encouraged him to follow his heart, knowing that this journey was part of David's healing process. Life after the divorce was not kind to John. The decision to leave his wife and son haunted him, filling him with guilt and regret. He tried to move on, but his actions left a void that he couldn't fill. John's once thriving business began to suffer, and his social circle dwindled. Loneliness became his constant companion. Despite his attempts to forget the past, memories of Sarah and David would often resurface, bringing a pang of sadness. John followed the news and knew about David's success, though he never openly acknowledged it. His pride battled with his prejudice, creating an internal turmoil that he struggled to resolve. John's nights were sleepless, filled with thoughts of what could have been and the family he had abandoned. The turning point came when John saw a television interview featuring David. As he watched his son speak with grace and confidence, John's heart ached with both pride and regret. The resemblance was unmistakable, and the realization that this successful, well-spoken young man was his son was overwhelming. John grappled with his emotions, torn between the desire to reconnect and the fear of being rejected. He couldn't ignore the longing to make amends, to seek forgiveness for his actions. The weight of his guilt pressed heavily upon him, and he knew he had to do something. John's decision to reach out to Sarah marked the beginning of his journey towards redemption. He hoped that it wasn't too late to make things right and to be a part of David's life, even if only from a distance. John's call to Sarah was filled with hesitation and uncertainty. He stammered through his apology, expressing his desire to meet David. Sarah, though cautious, sensed the sincerity in John's voice. She discussed the matter with David, who had mixed feelings about the reunion. After much contemplation, David agreed to meet his father, curious to see the man who had abandoned them. The first meeting was emotionally charged, with years of pent-up emotions surfacing. John struggled to find the right words, while David oscillated between anger and curiosity. Sarah's presence provided a stabilizing force, reminding both men of the love and strength that had carried them through the years. The initial meeting ended with unresolved feelings, but it was a step towards healing. David's confrontation with John was intense. He demanded answers, wanting to know why his father had abandoned them. John, with tears in his eyes, admitted his prejudice and fear. He explained how societal pressures and his own insecurities had clouded his judgment. His heartfelt apology was filled with remorse and a plea for forgiveness. David's emotions were a whirlwind of anger, hurt, and a longing for closure. He struggled to process the revelation, torn between the desire to reconnect and the pain of his father's betrayal. John's vulnerability and genuine regret slowly began to chip away at David's defenses. The confrontation marked the beginning of a difficult but necessary journey towards understanding and healing. The journey towards reconciliation was gradual. John and David began to spend more time together, slowly rebuilding their relationship. They shared stories, experiences, and emotions, finding common ground despite the years of separation. Sarah played a crucial role in facilitating their bond, encouraging forgiveness and understanding. The process was not without its challenges, but both men were committed to healing. John confronted his own prejudices and worked to become a better person, while David learned to forgive and let go of his anger. Their relationship evolved from one of estrangement to a genuine father-son bond, built on mutual respect and love. The process of building bridges was healing for both, as they navigated the complexities of their past and present. The story concludes with a symbolic family picture, capturing the essence of acceptance and redemption. John, Sarah, and David stood together, a testament to the power of love and forgiveness. Reflecting on their journey, they recognized the importance of resilience and the strength of family bonds. David's continued success, now with the support of both parents, was a testament to his inner strength and the love that had guided him. The narrative underscored the significance of overcoming prejudice and embracing diversity, highlighting the transformative power of forgiveness. In the end, the family's unity and acceptance served as a beacon of hope, reminding us that redemption and reconciliation are always possible, no matter the past. Thank you for being a part of Narrative Stories. Your support and engagement mean the world to us. We are committed to bringing you the best in storytelling. What kinds of stories would you like to see next? Share your thoughts in the comments below.